महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. ओम ओम नारायण. These two shlokas 7 and 8 go together because they express one idea. In the earlier 5th and 6th, self-control is advised. Self-control. Control of senses and mind. Uddharedhatmanatmanam. One should uplift oneself. One should not degrade, push oneself down. One shouldn't do that. So because it is in our hands. If it is in somebody's hands, okay, you could blame. But here, spiritual sadhana, adhyatmika is purely rests in our hands. Therefore, one is a friend of oneself, one is an enemy of oneself. It depends upon how you make yourself. If you make your body, mind and sense organs as inimical to you, antagonistic to you, you become a problem to yourself. But if you make your sense organs and mind very, disciplined, purified, they cooperate. They cooperate. Any person for that matter. You take an animal or children or any human being is well disciplined, trained person, he will cooperate with you. He will work with you. But any untrained person, he will go wild. He won't cooperate. Any animal, these days animals are less. In those days they were using animals for bullock cart, horses for drawing the cart. So if they are trained, they will work for you. If they are untrained, it's impossible, very difficult. Anything you take it, in the nature, certain things available in nature, the things available in nature have to be processed. You can't consume it directly. Food itself. Some fruits you can eat, but some of them you have to process. In short, anything that is available cannot be taken directly. It has to be little trained and disciplined. Similarly, our sense organs and mind have to be trained. This is the basis of spirituality. This is the basis of religion. Modern civilization is unable to understand this. Body, sense organs and mind. The mistake is we take body, mind and sense organs as myself. When I take it as myself, though it is not my real self, then body, mind and sense organs have their own nature. Their own nature. So they start protesting. They impose on me. They give all kinds of trouble to me. That is what samsara means. Body makes its own demands. It pressurizes. But here, we have to first learn that human being is not body, mind and sense organs. He is something more than this. He is something more than this. Therefore, body has to be disciplined, means it has to be made favorable to Atma, helpful to Atma, not an enemy to Atma. See, that is a simple thing. These are the simple things, not only philosophy, but whole human society, culture, values are based. Nowadays, these things are lost. What you see is only atheism, whole world. It is not a church alone, whole world is becoming atheistic. By atheist, I mean not any philosophical idea, simple life. Common man may not know the philosophy, but there is certain basic understanding of life, basic outlook towards life. If you take body alone is Atma, That means living at the level of body, making money and indulging in pleasures, if this alone is goal of life, then that's what atheism means. We call Charvaka materialistic person. But previous cultures, they would call Atma is something more than the body. Body, mind and sense organs we use, but Atma is something more than it. In our real nature, we are more than this. So body, tentatively we are sheltered in the body. We are sheltered in the minds and sense organs, like we live in a room. You live tentatively in a room, therefore you have to make arrangements for living. But you are not the room itself, you are not the walls. You are something different from it. So your real happiness, your real joy depends upon yourself, not on your external things. Now that human being is only body, and his life, his pleasures, his work, everything at the level of the body alone has become standard. Therefore, this rebirth, taking another birth or going to another world after the death of the body, after the death of a person doesn't die, body dies but person survives. He survives not in this physical form, in another form. That means even now he is something more than the body. For a person to survive the death of the body, he has to be something more than the body even now. Even now he is something more than the body. If he is more than the body, then when the body goes away, still I continue. If I were only body, then along with body, life ends. Nothing remains. So this is the basic principle of any culture, any civilization, any development. Any development. I think this basic thing is destroyed. That person is something more than the body. Body is only an instrument, is a tentative shelter. You are using it, but you are not the body. That means body should be favorable to you. You should not, you are not equal to body. That means you should not come down to the body. Body should be controlled. Why should we control? A modern civilization says, we want freedom. This freedom is a very highly misleading concept, this of modern civilization. In the name of freedom, you are only enslaving yourself. What is freedom? What is freedom? First to define. For what purpose? Why do you want freedom? What do you mean by freedom? And then where, in which area and how much? Where do you want? In which area and how much? For what purpose? This is the basic topic people should discuss. And this should be an important topic whole society, whole world should discuss. This is lost. Freedom means do anything, your ego, your frustration, everything is ego, freedom. What I like is a freedom. So it is only ultimate ego, destruction, and then terrorism, everything is a freedom. Freedom has no meaning, or freedom has meaning only to destroy ourselves. So this is the basic thing is lost. So if a philosophy is a too high, Vedanta, but two ways is, one is you directly discuss and understand philosophy. Other is keeping that philosophy in view, certain outlook, certain lifestyle, certain values, certain behavior, certain ideas are given to common man. He may not understand the deeper philosophy behind, but the simple principles, simple ideas are given so that he can live that Vedanta. Without understanding Vedanta, you can live Vedanta. Without understanding all deeper philosophy of Vedanta, still you can live Vedantic ideas in a simpler way, in a common man's way. So therefore, a culture should be based upon, a civilization, a culture, a life should be based upon that absolute truth. You can learn if you want at a little later stage. You can learn Vedanta. But even as a common man, that's why you see illiterates are also. They knew, they were told by elderly people, these are the values, this is the discipline, follow. And later they understood, oh, this is Vedanta now. In younger days, Earlier days we were taught these things. Now we understand why we have to follow. But at that stage, it is a bit difficult. Now, freedom. Freedom is so unconditional, so thoughtless, so foolish. Anything, I don't want any control of body, mind and sense organ. Anything. So, we live instinctively and impulsively. Animal lives instinctively, impulsively. Animal lives by instincts. Nowadays, freedom has come to mean that live like an animal, instincts. Whatever your mind feels, you want it. You just live it, that's all. So why don't we think of controlling, curbing, disciplining that? No, don't talk of that. You are controlling my freedom. You say learn discipline, learn to surrender, surrender means accept, regulate, control, accept the society and the world and others, accommodate with others. They say you are controlling my freedom. I am free. I do as I like. So this is the very meaning is lost. That's because individual has come to mean body. So instead of keeping the body under the control of Atma is identified with the body. See, Atma is brought down and identified with the body, and that is the unit. Human being is a unit and he is a center. What is it? That he is the body, is the center, is a final truth, is the center of it, final truth. All civilization, culture, everything should be built based upon that. Man is nothing but a human being is nothing but a body. His bodily needs, bodily desires, bodily pleasures and experiences alone count. So, if you ask a person to control yourself, sacrifice your physical needs and desire certain things so that you can grow inwardly, this is it's an inhuman, torture, exploitation, all kinds of words they use. So self-control is a torture. Then what? Indulge, that is a freedom. So this happens because person right from childhood, he is not taught who is he. Who am I first? Am I just a body? If suppose I fulfill the bodily needs, first thing is it possible to fulfill all the bodily desires? Is it possible? Is it practically possible? Can fulfill that whatever you demand, you give them. Keep on giving them. Suppose even if you give, at least even if you fulfill all your physical desires, or at least some of them, it is impossible practically, but at least some of them you fulfill the desires. Do you become happy, contented? Even if you are fulfilled, still mind is restless. It looks for another desire, another thing, again another. It is endless. They don't know. They think since it is endless, okay, come on, another desire. We look for another, develop another, more create another, and more go another. Life goes on. That means what is slavery? Perpetuating the slavery has come to mean civilization. Not liberating Atma, but binding Atma, enslaving Atma to the body, because when you identify with the body, you become a false self. You don't become real self. Your real self is covered up. A false self is created. What is false? Why do you call it false? Because fulfilling bodily desires can never give you satisfaction, can never make you really happy. That means your bodily self, your Atma identify with the body is a false self, because it can never satisfy you. You find out nobody is ever happy by identifying with the body, trying to fulfill the body levels, trying to get freedom, trying to achieve something through the body can never make you happy. It is an illusion because it is a false self. Now the false self has become a center, is a basis for all culture, all civilization, all religion and everything. They talk of little bit of sacrifice. Modern society, modern civilization talks of little bit of sacrifice and discipline and values. But that again, individual has to sacrifice for a collective group. A group, it can be a religious group, social group, political group. Political group you call nation. Social group you have got communism and etc. certain groups. Or religious groups like Christianity, Islam and then so on, Judaism and certain groups. Religious groups, social groups, political groups, some kind of group. So group interest is more important than an individual. They advocate, sacrifice individual needs, individual desires, but you develop a larger group ego. Individual ego you can sacrifice, but create a group ego. So group ego is a big illusion. I am saying this specifically because this is what the modern civilization presents, a group ego. They think group ego is selflessness, egolessness. So they only concentrate on individual ego. So if individual ego is subordinated to group ego, they think we are selfless, we are egoless. It is an illusion of egoless. It is only ego finding another form of ego only. Therefore, you see them, they sacrifice a lot, but for the group interest. And the religion also tells that sacrifice for group. You make a law for law. Our religious books give certain laws, certain discipline for sake of the group. So, in the name of the group, it gives you certain desires, selfish desires. It allows you egoistic desires. But the ego is not individual ego, it is a group ego. So group ego cannot be identified. It becomes very difficult to recognize. Therefore, in the name of group ego, they can perpetuate any amount of violence. They can kill and rob and destroy, because people belonging to other religion, other society, other nation. One nation attacks another nation, exploits them inhumanly. They don't feel any sensitivity, any regret. Heart doesn't feel hurt at all. You easily exploit others and you feel you are happy. No thought at all. That means your ego is identified with one nation. And other nations you can exploit. You give one social group, like your communism and one ideology. Other people, whoever is against communism, inhumanly treat them, torture them, kill them. They have no feeling at all. Or any other ism. So person, if he follows any other ism, torture him, exploit him, kill him, or ask him to come to my group, ask him to subscribe to my ideology. That's all. It's an inhuman. They don't say any inhumanity. They say we are selfless. We are surrendering to our communist ideology. We are selflessly serving it. They think selfless means only individual ego. But individual ego is replaced by group ego, that's all. It is the same ego in another cloak, in a disguised ego. Disguised ego is more dangerous rather than a straight ego. Religion also is doing the same way. So they make certain religious laws. You're supposed to follow. In that thing, they give you personally sacrificing, but collectively fulfilling. It is like a mafia gang, you know that? A gang of robbers. So, individually they sacrifice a lot. There will be a gang leader. It makes the rules. You are not supposed to violate. Whatever we rob it, we distribute according to, they have a principle. Accordingly, we distribute to people. In a certain percentage, everybody will get it. Nobody should cheat. There is no police, no law for them, because they alone themselves a law. The leader, he does it. See, if somebody does some mistake, some selfishness, instantly he will be punished or killed directly. No law, nothing, no police, nobody. Immediately he will be killed. He is afraid of it and just follows it. But as long as you follow our rigid laws, you will be taken care of. We'll give you money. If you get caught by police, we will release you. We'll kill the police and release you. Or we will kill you directly. So that through you, our gang, secrecy of our gang should not leak to government. Therefore, this is the way we protect. We protect. But internally, in the gang, that gang is ruthlessly cruel to others. Ruthless, cruel to others, exploit them, kill them, rob them. But when it comes to your group, internally, follow very selfless. Very strictly you follow the rule. You will not cheat your own group member, but you can cheat outsider. So, it looks that we are so selfless. We are so selfless, sacrificing. We are not personally robbing others' property and keeping them. We are selfish. That means they keep on comparing with that alone. Individually, I am not exploiting. So whatever I does it, group as I does it, group gives a law and we follow sincerely, selflessly we follow. That means your ego, you are asked to remove your ego, but the same ego is put differently, indirectly. This group ego is an indirect ego. So that for him you get a satisfaction that I am selfless, I am egoless. But your all ego needs, ego desires will be fulfilled indirectly. You can rob the property and enjoy. You can kill the people and enjoy. That means your needs of enjoyment, your personal ego needs, desires are fulfilled indirectly. Therefore, you can pass for a selfless person, but the group ego continues. This is an illusory selflessness, illusory egolessness. This is what is happening. The modern civilization, I think the whole world is growing in the model of Islam and Christianity. This is what we are seeing. Islam and Christianity, it has developed into a third group called communism. These three groupism, a group thinking, group thoughts, group ideas. In fact, they are all similar in many respects. A few points differ, but there is a one book, one prophet, one thing. And they also have got one book, Das Kapital, and the one prophet is only a Karl Marx. Apostles, they like the three. Christianity has three. Son, God, and Holy Ghost. Similarly, they have three. Marx, Lenin, Stalin. They have got three. And their one book, Das Kapital. And they divide the whole humanity into two, like the believers and non-believers. Christianity and Islam divides the whole humanity into believers and non-believers. All believers belong to God's people, and all non-believers are aliens. They are satanic people. So just like this is a group ego. Similarly, communism also creates all are only comrades, and all of them are enemies of our ideology. So exploit them, kill them. Ruthlessly they kill, without any regret, without any guilt conscience. Conscience becomes clean. If you do anything to your own comrade, then you are a criminal. If you hurt a co-Christian, you are a criminal. God will punish you. If you hurt a co-Muslim, I think. But non-Muslim, you can hurt anybody. Because Allah made clearly, if you hurt a non-Muslim, no sin attaches. Because there is no God on their side. It is a Satan they are worshipping. Therefore, they don't deserve to be protected. But if you have become a loyal to God, you become a God's party. That is a covenant. Covenant is Jesus' covenant, or what you call Allah's covenant, or a Karl Marx covenant. So once you join the covenant, it is an Allah's party. It is an Allah's party, and this is a Jesus party, and another is a Marx party. So you join the party internally there are certain laws. You are not supposed to cheat. You have to be selfless, dedicated, very loving. All your saintliness is internal. And then outside group, you don't owe even courtesy, common courtesy. You can ill-treat him, exploit him, you can do anything. No sin attaches. So this is the way they created. Now this principle, this idea of groupism, group law, group principles, ethics belonging to your group, outside, no ethics. You can do anything. You can be cruel to them, you can kill them. In fact, it is a very commendable job. God will bless you, give a special blessing. You will be sent to heaven with a special blessing. If you kill your in-group, out-group. In-group ethics, out-group no ethics. So this principle is spreading gradually all over the world. Whole world is developing this thing. The names have changed, but the principle has remained the same. Groupism, inner group and outer group. Only you belong to my group, you will attain heaven. Outside group, you don't. Not only you, okay, Hindus don't understand this thing. Hindus think that Okay, if Christians think that they alone will go to heaven, that is their belief. Okay, so what? We don't care. Then Muslims said we alone go to heaven and non-Muslims don't go to heaven. Okay, let them, it is their belief. It is not simple, their belief. They want to impose on you. These Hindus don't understand. They say, don't impose, follow yourself, follow your religion. Our religion is only to impose you. If you don't impose, there is no religion. They told clearly, if we don't convert, there is no Christianity. Christianity is a Christianity only when we convert you, only when we destroy you. That is only Christianity. If you don't allow, it is as good as banning our religion. It is equal to banning our religion, prohibiting our religion. Then if you permit, we do only this thing. We can't stop and we will not. Christianity is essentially missionary. Missionary and Christianity can't be separated. That's what they say. Even Islam, same thing. Dawa, they call in Urdu dawa. Without dawa, there is no religion. It must be. Communism also, it must impose. It must spread to people. Otherwise, we have every right, we have to impose. It is our right, God-given right. Who are you to oppose? If you oppose, you are a Satan. You are a follower of Satan. So we must punish you. We have got a right, God-given right to punish you, kill you, or wipe you out. That's all. So this groupism alone is considered as a religion or God or anything, whatever you call. Now it is gradually spreading even in Hinduism within internally. Each guru is making his own group. One guru, one book, one organization. You join our membership, is a groupism started. We didn't have this way. We would see all gurus as equal to my guru. My guru only helps me, gives me diksha and guides me. But if I see another guru, he is also equal to my guru. You would respect them, listen to them. If there are some differences, a few differences will be there. In other aspects, we follow. Therefore, we didn't have this kind of a groupism. Now in India also started. You can see the many groups started groupism now. Ramakrishna Mission started their own groupism. Then somebody else started their own thing. They have got 3. Like you have got, Christianity has got 3. You means Christianity has 3. God, Son, Holy Ghost. Ramakrishna, Sharada, Vivekananda. You know that? Ramakrishna, Sharada, triad. Ramakrishna, triad. Triad, you call them, or 3. I don't know what you call 3. They are the 3. They have got only their gospel. In fact, they named it as Gospel of Ramakrishna. Yeah. They named it Gospel. And then Vivekananda and other people, he has got some 13 or 14 disciples. They reduce it to the other people and make it to look like similar to Christianity. We call them apostles or apostles. What do you call them? How do you pronounce? I don't know. The apostles. So there are 12 apostles. They made them. Brahmananda, Akhandananda. There are some disciples of Ramakrishna. They are apostles. They use the English words and they publish it and they do this thing. Now it has become their own group. So you give mantra diksha, you belong to our group. Only one good thing is that we don't deny heaven to outsiders because it is an Indian thing. Only that is the thing. That otherwise it's just exactly the same model. In fact, the name also they use it as a mission. Same mission. The name is also same. And they told English is important. They told everybody must be English. You know that any brahmachari, any sannyasi who joins there must know English. Anybody who doesn't know English will not be admitted. He must know English. So it has become centered on English. English is necessary. Without knowing English, you won't be admitted. There is no single brahmachari who doesn't know English. If you don't know English, you are not permitted. You learn English and come. Otherwise, no. So anyway, these other people, okay, leave about Ramakrishna. But other people are also, any yogis, gurus are creating now. They are creating their own groups. And they're one book, one person, and one this thing. Only out of all. Instead of dismissing that as a very divisive, very exclusive, we are imitating them and making whole Hindu society into that. So, in fact, we should have taught them, remove that. That is exclusive, that is creating problem, that divides people, creates disharmony in society. Instead of teaching them, we are imitating it. That is a problem with Hindus. So, they say that if you join our group, then only you will go to heaven. then only you get a God's blessing. You follow our own prophets' ideas. You can't follow other prophets' ideas because they are all satanic. And you be others, then you will go to hell alone, no heaven. But Hindus say, change that. You have your own group, you have your own sadhana, but allow others also to follow their own sadhana, they will also go to heaven. They say, no. Only one way, only through our way, heaven. Otherwise, no heaven to you, you will be eternal damnation. These Hindus don't know. They think that, oh, they don't know probably. They misunderstood probably. That's not right. That's not a true religion. They must have misunderstood. Okay. Hindus imagine themselves they have misunderstood. It is not misunderstanding. That is their essential tenet in their religion. Do you mean it is simple, superficial? It is not essential. Therefore, this individual ego is replaced by collective group ego. Then they think that we are selfless. But same cruelty, same ego continues in a modified form. It is the same cruelty, but the cruelty is permitted by your God. They say that I am not hating you. See, they openly say, you go to heaven, you are eternal damnation, you are a satanic, etc. He says, why are you condemning us? He says, I am not condemning it. I have no personal hatred for you. Our God says, and we are following. See, same hatred in the name of God you do, so you are not. It is something like somebody wants to rob, and you catch the thief and tell him, see, you are a thief, we'll report and we'll punish you in the police station or in the court. And he says, you see, I'm not a thief because I have committed theft not on my own. There is a boss and he ordered me and I have done it. So don't you feel it is a crime? No. Why? Because my conscience is clean. I have no personal hatred for anything. But what you are doing is a crime. No, I am not doing crime. I have no intention to harm you, rob you. There is an instruction, I follow. This escapes easily your ego. Your ego indirectly it fulfills. Indirectly fulfills your ego. You identify with that. It looks personally you are selfless. But what you are doing is only ego's ideas in the name of egolessness. Like this, I am just giving an example. Like this, there are many false form of self. Body is me when you take. It is not your real self. It is a false self because try to fulfill all bodily desires. However you fulfill, howsoever, you remain dissatisfied. So Atma has to be seen independent of the body, separate from the body, totally independent, recognize that Atma and purify that Atma, discover the Atma's nature. Then once you discover the Atma's nature, look for what does it want. Its desires can be fulfilled, and then once and fulfilled, it becomes really happy. But this false self can never be done. Therefore, the basic principle for all human civilization and culture must be, that's why in India, in spite of different traditions, different music, art, and sevas, and then poetry, all so many sadhanas we have. In all of them, one thing common is this. That person is not body alone. He is something more than the body. This is where it begins. This is a common principle for all inner Hinduism religions. Buddhism, Jainism, everybody accepts the same thing. That man is something more than the body. Therefore, he identifying with the body is a false thing. Therefore, all real sadhana rests in de-identifying. That means once you transcend, you discover the consciousness which is not the body, your notion of me, I am. In the notion of me, you are including the body, including sense organs, including the mind, including the certain external things like property, money, relatives, and etc. This is mine, this is me. So in that idea of me and mine, you are including many anatmas. Non-atmas, you are including it. Then you become a false self. That false self can never be satisfied. It leaves you deeply dissatisfied, struggling. That's all people are lost. Therefore, The basic thing one has to know is one is more than body. So, simply knowing is not enough, it has to be discovered inwardly. For that you need some sadhana. You need a purity of mind. Therefore, first you start with Karma Yoga. Learn to not expect anything about future. Live in the present and let mind be introspective. To that mind, little more Vedanta is taught. And Upasana and Vedanta like that. And if you learn Upasana or Vedanta, you will come to discover your real self, which is beyond the body, beyond the mind and sense organ. So that gives you real freedom because it's a natural, spontaneous and fully free. Therefore, nowadays, freedom means only to live at the level of the body, certain pleasures, money and status and all that. They say, since you have a desires at the level of the body, others also have. We all have the desire. Therefore, let us distribute all our objects, pleasures to everybody. Okay. That means collectively you live at the level of body alone. But it creates some more problems. You will not go into that detail. This much is enough. So then what is the freedom? Freedom is to fulfill that instinctive, impulsive desires. There is an impulse. There is an instinctive. It is not well thought out. Something comes from me, pushes me, I want it. Okay, fulfill it. Vedanta or religion, anything says, there are certain impressions, there are certain inclinations in your mind, and those inclinations pressurize you to achieve, to enjoy, to rob, to steal, anything you do. So these inclinations, not all are good. There are certain wrong inclinations. The wrong inclination, false inclination has to be corrected. So this is missing in the modern education system, society, life and etc. Freedom is freedom. Whatever I want to do, I do it. If you don't allow, that's wrong. That's all. This is the only thing. So this freedom is a misleading because freedom for what? For the Atma which is identified with the body. Atma that identifies with the body is a jiva, is an individual. He is one part of the body, mind and sense organs, then he is stuck. He is stuck there. Therefore, then why do we need self-control? Because your mind identifies with the body, identifies with the sense organs, identifies the mind, mind's feelings, mind's thoughts. Thoughts and ideas also you identify. Then you don't want any other ideology. I want this alone. I don't want to question. Just to follow this ideology. So, these are all the areas where we get stuck, where we become limited and bound. So, person has to be released from this bondage. They think external control alone is control. Is not internal control also control? I've got certain desires, certain interest, certain likes and dislikes, certain desire. They pressurize me. They make me prejudiced. There is an inner control, wrong control, external control. External control you can protest. Oh, government laws we don't believe and all feminist and all that they do. But what about your inner problems? Who will do that? So, just because we give you freedom doesn't mean all freedom will be used properly and you will get happiness. No, most of the time freedom given is abused. Because first they have no value for higher life. And then the higher life they just don't know. And they think this alone is life. And at this level alone they want a freedom. So by choosing, freedom means choosing something. By choosing a small, you are missing a bigger thing. You are missing a higher one by choosing a small thing. And he says, not the question of small or big. I choose, that's all. I like it and I choose it. Who are you to question? You alone have to choose it. I can't impose my choice on you. But I should help you to make better choice. Freedom is not giving to choose as you like, But freedom requires discipline, education and culture to be able to use freedom in a proper way. Otherwise, you use your freedom against yourself. This is what it is. You use freedom against yourself. Freedom has to be used properly. That requires a lot of purity of mind, viveka, discipline and all this. Without all these things, how can you do? Now again you have to start from here. So any man, common man, whether you believe in religion or no religion, God or no God, this basic discipline everybody must undergo. That makes you really a good human being. Otherwise, an element of animality. Animalness is present, and that animality makes me to do many things which are against me. That's a big problem. Therefore, the foundation should be that human being is more than body. And he is stuck with body at the moment. That is mistake, a misunderstanding. Now he has to pay attention, gradually correct the misunderstanding. How do you correct it? You have an opinion about something, some understanding about something. I have an understanding about this. I think this is so and so. Now, whether my understanding is correct or not, you verify. Verify with the fact. If my understanding is true to the object, it is correct. If it is untrue, object is one way, my understanding is different from it, then that clashes. So, my idea, my understanding is going against the fact. I have to accept the fact. Now, there is no fact at all. Bodily me is me, that is the standard. Anything is judged by this standard. Bodily protection, bodily pleasure, bodily life, bodily this thing, that's all. So this is the standard. If you ask him to do sacrifice, we will punish you. How dare you punish the person? Give him trouble like that? Why should you exploit him? You are asking him to serve. They say, asking somebody to serve, that too freely without paying, like a disciple does the service to Guru. And he says, Guru is exploiting him. Communism says, Guru is exploiting him. Why should he serve freely? For working every 1 hour, count and pay him by 1 hour. If you pay, there is no bhakti. If there is no bhakti, no self-control, no inwardness, no depth will come. That means no spirituality, no paraloka, no world, other world, etc., nothing, only this world. Live and do it. So this is the thinking. Therefore, first, human being is more than body, beyond body, stands on his own, independent of body. That independent Atma has to be discovered, has to be understood. Understanding means you stay as it. As the Atma, you stay. You again doesn't fall into body level, mind level, sense organ level, you don't fall. You remain there alone. So this understanding, Uddhared Atmaratmanam is stated that you have to uplift yourself. Others can't do anything. Because you, by your purity of mind, by your sadhana, you will discover. God will show you in some or other manner. Some inspiration, some idea, something He will give you. He has got 100 different ways. God has got 100 different ways. What we cannot imagine also is a way for Him. We can't imagine, but He does it. So that is the way. Okay, so this basic thing, then the freedom, etc. Why do you need freedom? You need freedom to learn self-discipline, learn self-control. You have to deny certain pleasures, certain other things. You have to deny. In the process, in the beginning it looks painful, but once you learn, you develop a taste in it. You develop very interesting in it. So in being selfless, you get a lot of joy. And also you follow good discipline, values in society, everything you follow well. Therefore, basic principle should be that he is more than the body. Then your sadhana, your life and acquiring, everything should be towards that. Tentatively, you may get stuck with money and some pleasure or something. Over a period of time, you will come out of it. If you, as long as you don't force him, after some time, he will become fed up with it. No, I don't want it. Then he become very saintly man. Like that, Person has to be trained. In practicing these things, you need freedom. Freedom for doing good, freedom for practicing sadhana. So another extreme was there. They say no freedom. Whatever we say, you must accept. Whatever church says or mullah says, you should accept. You should not question. At one time, that was the reason. Now they say, any obedience we reject. We don't obey. I do as I like. I don't obey anybody. They made it into a big philosophy of life that I do whatever I like. That is my freedom. So freedom has come to mean keep you jiva, narrow jiva, not make you a broader jiva or even atma, make you as a complete narrow jiva and remain there alone. Don't move out. It makes you get stuck there. Then you don't think of larger picture of life. Here he says, this, if you keep it, then the purpose of freedom is to use it in this way so that you learn and grow and become a better person. Abba. My medicine is putting me to sleep. Then the control, self-control, of course, not too much imposed, but gradually you have to learn. Senses have to be brought under control. Body has to be removed from its restlessness. And then gradually you have to control. And then more and more you control, your senses will remain peaceful. If they are uncontrolled, the desires pushes the sense organ. Desires in each sense organ, in the body, they will push you. In Kathopanishad, you must have heard that example of a Ratha Sarathi. Ratha means a chariot. The chariot example is beautiful. He says, the horses are sense organs. And the rope you hold it is called mind. It's comparable to mind. And a driver, the chariot driver is the intellect. Intellect means viveka, understanding and viveka. Understanding dharma, what is good, what is bad, what is right and wrong and all that. And the Yajamana Atma is sitting in the chariot. And driver has to drive. And for this, the horses should be well trained. There the shloka says mantra. If horses are not properly trained, horses will go wild. Suppose they are going on the way, they see something greenery, some grass, they will turn towards it for eating. But if they are trained, they won't go. They won't go. Only their duty is to help me to cross this road. So they will just go directly. So sense organs have to be trained, controlled. Otherwise, if suppose untrained, uncontrollable horses if you bring, how can you tie it to the Ratha chariot? And they won't cooperate. If you tie, I have seen in my childhood, if there is an untrained or a very young bull is brought, and you tie it, and as you start it, it will turn this side opposite to you. we are going this way. Our chariot is moving, bullock cart is this way, and the bull turns towards you, and it won't go. What will you do? It has to be well trained. This is how they do it. So sense organs have to be trained. Trained means there are desires sitting in sense organs. If you give freedom to them, then what happens? Those desires enslave the sense organs and they'll lead it wildly to anywhere. In that thing, he says, in that shloka, there are 6 shlokas there, 6 mantras in Kathopanishad. One more, he says, sense organs are told, Ratha, the chariot is the body. The Atma is the owner of the chariot sitting inside. The chariot driver is the intellect. Intellect who knows dharma, right and wrong. Suppose he doesn't know, or even if he knows he doesn't use it properly, then he'll leave that rope, he holds it. He leaves the rope free. Otherwise, he knows how to control the rope. Rope has to be tightened so that the bull will remain. If you leave it free, they will just go as they like. And if so the horses should be particularly trained. Training means what? They should listen to the chariot driver. Whatever the driver says, it should go. Come on, move, it should move. No, stop for a while, it should stop. Don't go to left, don't go to left. Go straight. No, go straight right, yes. Turn right, yes, turn right. So if the horses decide that I like the greenery, I'll go that way, he will go from the tar road, fall on the ground, and then he will go somewhere.
The same example is in
Plato also says. Oh, same example. Oh, very nice, very nice. So, path. I didn't know this. Plato told. Okay. Plato's book, Dialogue?
Yes.
In Dialogue, okay.
Yes.
In Dialogue, okay. I think I have a book, I'll refer. It's a bulk book somewhere, it must be there. So, horses are sense organs, and they should be, two things, they should be trained. Trained means what? They should not decide independently where to go. They should listen to the driver. Driver also should use the brain for what? Driver should not use his own desires. He should interest in the master of the chariot. The owner of the chariot, he should keep in mind. If driver is also exploitative driver, insincere driver, if he doesn't know dharma means he should ask the master again and again, where do you want to go? You want me to stop here for a while, or should we go away, or you want to rest for a while? He should ask. Whatever pleases the master, he should follow. But instead of that, driver has his own desires. See, we'll go this way, we'll stay here for a while. Master says that no, we can't rest here, we have to reach the town today. He says, doesn't matter, we'll reach tomorrow. Who are you to decide? Why should the driver decide? He should decide, the master. If the driver wants to have his own thoughts, he says, my freedom. Your freedom destroys you. If horses say, my freedom, I want to do as I go. I want to go wherever I like. So, if horses have a freedom means indisciplined horses. Freedom means not discipline. Discipline means what? You have to surrender to the driver. Whatever driver says, you should do that. Don't use your own desires. You have no desires. You leave it to driver. Then what is the path? The path is sense objects. Sense organs and sense object. If horses are attracted to sense objects, wrong objects, they go away. But if they are trained, they will not get attracted to anything. Where the driver drives, he will go only there. He will not waste time. Similarly, freedom is to control your sense organs, control the body, control the weaknesses, remove the instincts and impulses, make you relaxed, disciplined, and a clean and clear thinker. By thinking, you understand what is dharma and what is atma. Two, dharma and atma. Atma is in Vedanta, dharma is in first portion of Veda. So, dharma and atma, two things you have to know. But if the mind is, no, I don't want to listen to Shastra, I am not interested in Vedanta and spirituality and all that, I am pressurized by immediate desires. What are those desires? Desires are false desires, because they don't keep master's interest in view. See, if the horses want to run somewhere, they are not thinking of the master. What happens to the master? We don't care. We just go and do what we want. That means that horses are going against master. The rope is given too much of freedom. Rope has to be tight. If you give freedom, horses will go as they like. Then the cart driver also, forgetting the master, and he thinks that this, chariot is mine and I go where I like. Then you are ignoring the master. Then that master cannot have such a driver. Driver should keep in view master's interest. Against master's interest means what? Driver has his own interest. Hey, don't impose your interest. I have engaged you for my sake. You follow what I say. We have to reach this evening, we must reach. Otherwise, don't waste time. And you don't give any excuses for delaying, for giving trouble to me. So that intellect, the chariot driver should totally surrender to master. This is called control. What is self-control? Horses and the rope and the driver. Horses are sense organs. Rope is mind. Manapragrahamevacha. Indriyani hayanyaho vishayamstesha gocharan. This is the mantra Kathopanishad. Atmanam rathinam vidya shariram rathamevatu. Buddhim tu sarathim vidya manapragrahamevacha. This is a well-known shloka. We often repeat it in all our pravachanas. Buddhim tu sarathim vidhi. Buddhi is sarathi. Sarathi is a chariot driver. Manapragrahamevacha. Mind is that pragraha. Pragraha means the rope. Pragraha means the rope which is tied to the horses and in the hands of a driver. That is called pragraha. So that pragraha is mind. Mind is emotion. If the driver leaves it little loose, the horses get chance and run away. Therefore, the emotion should not be running wild. And they say, my freedom. My freedom means you allow the emotions wild and thought as you like it. And horses want to go as they like. If horses pull in one direction, rope is too loose, and driver also has his own thoughts. Ultimately, who will suffer? The master will suffer. So this is simple control. So the freedom, what for you want freedom? Freedom for freedom's sake? Then you are doomed. You can't do that. So freedom has a purpose, and it has to be used. Sometimes, see, every choice, sometimes when you choose something, you have, it will be some difficult also. You have to endure certain things. By enduring, you will learn discipline. You will learn purity. So this little bit of suffering, little bit of tapas, everybody must have. So this freedom, they say, those who demand freedom, they don't want any tapas. Tapas means penance. We don't want to suffer anything. We don't want discipline. We don't want control. Just to do as you like it. You will have, but you will not grow. You will remain animal only. You will remain animal. So this should be a part of education, but this education is left out. They say freedom, freedom, freedom. Oh, politicians talk of freedom, intellectuals talk of freedom, your novels talk of freedom, and every book and every education system, everybody talks of freedom, freedom, freedom. Freedom from what? Freedom from mother, freedom from father, freedom from everybody. That means you are a slave of all your desires and ego. There you don't say, I should be freedom from my ego. Why don't you say that? I should be free from my ego. No, because ego is your guru. Ego is your guru, therefore you want to follow him. So that is a problem. So the very education is enslaving you. Enslaving you. Whole education system is spoiling. Therefore they are living like animals. And the media, main thing is this TV and this thing, Bhayankara media is Rakshasa. It is Rakshasa. Films and this media, films and TV and cell phone, all these are Rakshasas. Asuri Sampada, we call it Asura. Therefore, they are destroying everything. So, therefore, he says, Jitat Manaha, Bandhura, you have to be friend. That means, if you control your body, sense organs, and mind, they are disciplined and follow the interest of master. Once they follow the interest of master is to attain the moksha. To attain moksha, then they should cooperate. Otherwise, they should not pull in their own direction. Generally, if a group of people go for some yatra, there is a leader. And the leader says you have to follow. If the group, some of the people, they said, no, come on, we'll go this way. I say, we have not planned it and we have no time and we can't go. He says, no, I like it. If you like it and you want to go, and this fellow wants this way, one fellow want to go this way, and then group can't move, you get stuck. Group can't move. And if you want, I told the same thing. If anybody needs something, you ask the leader. And in your whole day time, when we are free, we'll give you time and then we'll send you there. You ask us, we'll give you time. And he says, no, now I want to go. If you go, then you will be late for bus. Train or bus, you will be late. He says, doesn't matter, only few minutes. But in the late, it gets late. Once you get late, the train is lost. You miss the train. There is a problem. Then everybody has to suffer. Then they keep on blaming each other. Hey, you are responsible. You made late. You unnecessarily did it. You didn't listen to me. He says, when he is also taking freedom, why can't I take freedom? Keep on accusing, blaming, and self-defending. Ultimately, everybody suffers. This is what the foolishness. The modern civilization is creating that. All this is because freedom means, why do you want freedom? Freedom to follow good thing. Freedom to learn right thing. Freedom to follow. That should be the freedom, not freedom to destroy yourself. And you know what they argue? If you don't abuse freedom, that is not free. If you are not allowed to abuse freedom, it is not freedom at all. Freedom should be unconditional. Yes, if I abuse it, yes, it is my freedom to abuse it. I do whatever I like. If you don't allow me to abuse it, that is not freedom. Freedom means I should be allowed to do what I like. If I abuse it, is my responsibility. Who are you to do that? If you suffer, people should come, government should come, all medical facilities, they should come, and ambulance should come and treat me, spend me lakhs of rupees. You break your leg and whole thing, government should come, ambulance should come, and they'll spend crores of rupees to operate your hand and leg and all that. But you say your freedom, then if your leg breaks, you will be responsible. No, government has to spend in hospitals and super specialty and ICCU and all that. Why? This is the foolishness. So you give freedom to just cater to his freedom, and we keep on supplying. He will abuse freedom every day. He will create problem. He will create problems to himself. We keep on spending money for him. All good people suffer, and only these villains. Ultimately, this is what is happening. So the master has to yield to sense organ. A master has to yield to horses or a chariot driver. Chariot driver is not surrendering to master. Master has to surrender to chariot driver and horses. This is meaningless. Therefore, he says, Bandhur. So, the horses of your friends, if they are disciplined and under control, the rope which you are tied to control the horses, the rope will be if your friend, if rope listens to you. If the chariot driver is your friend, if he listens to you. If he doesn't listen, then he is acting individually against the master. Then that is enemy. The chariot driver is your enemy. The horses are your enemies. That's why he says, Bandhuratma atmanas tasya yenatvai atmana jitaha. If your body, Atma means here the body. Body, mind and sense organs are under your control, they are your friends. If they are wildly untrained, uncontrolled, they are your enemies. Therefore, this is important. First, self-control is important. In walking, talking, behaving, enjoying, everywhere, there is some rule, some discipline, some control. And if you get addicted, modern civilization says, get addicted. Freedom. If you give freedom, what will you do? I get addicted to pleasures and etc., way of talking, everything. There are certain wrong ways you get addicted to them. And you can't come out. And you will become wild. Not only you are a problem to yourself, you are a problem to society. You will give trouble to others also. And nobody questions it. They say this is freedom, 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 freedom. Only one thing, freedom. But inner understanding of Atma, freeing the Atma from bondage, that nobody talks of. Because the very education is against it. We brought it from Europe. Britishers have started it. And they are continuing. Nehru continued it. And next generations all talk like Nehrus. Nehru talked like Britishers. Britishers talked like somebody else, missionaries and communists. Missionaries and communists. Macaulays. We call Macaulay. There was one person, our British officer. Probably you know. Macaulay, you don't know. Our British officer who drafted our education system. He told that with this education system, with this education from today onwards, after 20 years, there will not be single heathen in India. All of them, they will remain Hindus in blood, but they will speak like Britishers, think like Britishers. We want that. They will think like Britishers, speak like Britishers. They will speak in our language. They call Indians as these Indians. You can see our educated people, these Indians, they talk, as if they are not. These Indians, Macaulay told, this is what I want. After 15 years, when first batch passed their school, you see the boys of who crossed that, schooling, how they talk. And one boy was taken to Kali temple in Calcutta at that time, in Bengal. He was taken wearing a hat, that British hat. You know the hat they wear, British. He went there. He told, hello, Madam Kali, he called. Hello, Madam Kali. Macaulay felt happy. This is what we want. Whole India we want like this. So that they will hate their own gods. Oh, this is all stone. They say, hello, Madam Kali. He calls Kali goddess, talks like that. This is what we wanted. Macaulay, we call him. Macaulay drafted the education system and Nehru continued it, and it is all going on. That's where we started. So our Upanishads, Bhagavad Gita, they have no place. They call it as religious books are communal. We don't want. Bhagavad Gita is a communal. Upanishad is communal. See, is a dogma. Who branded it? Missionaries branded it. Muslim mullahs branded it. Communist branded. Hinduism is communal because it is a dogma. We don't want it. We want secular. Then what about Muslim? They are minority. They should be given special protection. Their religious freedom they are given. Minorities are given religious freedom and Hindus are controlled because it is communal. We don't want communal. This is India. And we hope that India will become better. It will go. I don't know whether we will be alive to see. If we are alive, we will see. Your India will become worse than your Italy or worse than your Europe. Then probably Indians, some of them have to come to Europe to learn from you. It may happen. No, this is what is happening in India. What happened to Kashmir now? Do you see any single Hindu remaining in Kashmir? In Bangladesh? In Kerala? Now, Kerala is nearing 50% of non-Hindus now. In Kerala, you try, you can't go Hindu, you can't move there. It's dangerous now. Kerala is gone now. You don't, all our Hindu books, Hindu temples, everything is banned now. The government is controlling. They use temple only to extract Hindu money so that they can use it for others. Even in Andhra, it is happening. They take all Hindu temple money and use it for mullahs and missionaries. They pay missionaries who convert them. They take Tirupati funds and pay to the missionary. Government is openly telling. They pay monthly 10,000 rupees to the missionaries. They will go and pay salary. Temple funds, our Tirupati temple funds. Priests are starving, they have no food, our Hindu priests. Hindu priests are starving, that money is given to pastors. Now who will do anything? It's same thing. Politicians do anything. And that Christian is a chief minister. Christian is a chief minister. And he does the same thing. It has been happening. Nobody to bother. The Tirupati, you know the head? The head who manages is a Christian.
Yes. We have.
Is a Christian.
Yes.
So he diverts all money because Hindus just don't bother. Because Hindus are educated, we are secularists. We must be secularists. Secularism. All religions are same. Let them follow. Let anybody do. All religions are same. You can do anything. Secularism. Hindus are supposed to follow secularism. That means Hindus become fools. They follow secularism. Secularism means our temple funds should be taken by others. That is secularism. Yes, government should control. That is because the secularism in India is separate, different from your secularism in Europe, America, all over the world. Secularism all over the world is different, and secularism in India is different. In India, secularism means anti-Hinduism. In India, secularism means anti-Hinduism is secular. Give freedom to others, control Hindu, take all property. That is secularism. In Indian, secularism is strange, which Nehru brought. Our Nehru brought that. Anyway, so this is the control. Therefore, he says, you are your enemy, you are your friend. How to be a friend? That you do it. So, jitat manaha. Controlling your sense organs, mind and body is most important. They should be disciplined, purified. They should be under your control. You means what? Your interest is moksha. They should cooperate in your attaining moksha. They should not become obstacle to moksha, obstruct your spiritual sadhana. That is the thing. Okay. So the 7th shloka, Jitatmanaha, that one word we explained based upon the previous shlokas, Prashantasya. When he has a control, his mind becomes relaxed. That means it is the desire, it is the selfishness that makes the mind highly disturbed, vikshepa. It doesn't stay in your moksha marga. In the path of moksha, it doesn't stay. It doesn't cooperate, it wants to go elsewhere. A mind which is totally under control, free from unnecessary worldly desires and ego and all that, mind becomes peaceful. Such a peaceful mind becomes inward, and inward mind can meditate, and that as a result of meditation, he can discover yourself. So even to be able to meditate, your mind, body and sense organs has to be made favorable to it. Favorable means conducive to meditation. It should not obstruct the very meditation. Therefore, Paramatma Samahitaha. Such a person who has got such a purity and disciplined mind, as he does meditation, he is easy to reach. Samahitaha means it is very easy to reach Atma, easy to rest in Atma. You instantly rest in the Atma. Sitoshna Sukha Dukkheshu. This, though this is the second line of the 7th shloka, it goes with the 8th shloka. I think that point we'll discuss in the next class.